Dear Mary, you'll notice that today I am broadcasting from a bar. Today I want to discuss how to behave at the theater. But before that, I want to talk about the difference between theater, ER, and theater, RE. Yes, typically in America it is spelled ER, and in Britain it is RE. But many theater snobs like to use the ER spelling when talking about a physical building, like the Ford's Theater, whereas the art of putting on plays is RE, so the art. You know, it isn't a big deal, and if some theater snob gets on you for using it wrong, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't really apply in Britain because they just use the RE for everything, even physical buildings like the Globe Theatre. First thing to note when learning how to behave in a theater is to remember that this isn't your TV at home. It doesn't matter what you wear, or if you wear anything at all, or if you eat or talk or sit, lie down, or do jumping jacks. There's no need to follow any etiquette when you're in your own private residence. There also aren't very many rules when attending a Knicks game or a Taylor Swift concert, both of which are very different than a play, which is something a lot of people don't understand. When I discuss theater, I'm talking about stage plays, musicals, ballets, operas, orchestra or choir concerts, etc. And these rules apply both at the Broadway professional level or at the middle school level. A lot of these rules apply to the cinema as well, but not all of them. So the biggest thing is respect. Respect your fellow audience members. Just because you're not fully engaged in the stage doesn't mean that others aren't. The performers are right there and they can see if you are being disrespectful. In a lot of theater cases, this is their life's work. Theater is an actor's art, their pride and joy. A play is like a child to an actor or a director. Even me, who I have never acted as a career, but when I perform, I put my heart and soul, even though it was only one of like 5 other activities I was doing at the time. Even if you don't like it, you should still respect it. An easy rule is to not use your phone. Is that not given? Don't take pictures. Flash can be dangerous, especially to dancers. There's also a lot of copyright infringement that can happen if you're taking pictures. Just enjoy the show in the moment. Don't worry about recording it. That's one of the unique and beautiful and wonderful things about theater, is that it's fleeting, impermanent, in the moment. Each performance is unique. Don't talk. I actually struggle with this one because I have a lot of comments throughout a show, and I'm thinking I should probably just write them down on a notepad and discuss it later. Sit in your assigned seat. Not every production is going to have an assigned seat. It should say on your ticket. Find that someone is in your seat. Don't worry about awkwardly asking them to move, but go and ask an usher. It's their job to ask people to move if they're in your seat. Something unique about theater that you don't find in the cinema is direct feedback from the audience to the performer. It is perfectly okay to respond to the show. A lot of times I know people get nervous about that if they don't watch a lot of theater. So clapping is the easy one. Most people get this right. Clapping is how you tell the actors that you appreciate what they're doing. You do this at like the end of scenes or the end of songs or during impressive tricks in dance performances. People love fouettes, laughter. If you think it's funny, it's probably okay to laugh or at least chuckle. Booing and hissing is actually something that you can do in a melodrama at the villain, not just at any character. People used to boo and hiss when the villain came out. Nobody really does it anymore. Not every play, but some plays will ask you to interact with them, and a big one is clapping in rhythm. So if like everyone on stage starts, clapping a beat, you're not gonna get trouble if you do. Audiences can't clap on beat. They can't do it. So usually I don't start clapping unless it's clear performers want me to clap along. Cheering and whistling is not something you do in the theater. The goal is not to be as loud as possible. At a pop concert, the pop star might, be like, I can't hear you, and want you to be louder. Also, you should never whistle in the theater. It's bad luck. Don't yell out people's names, especially if they're actors playing a character. It's not a sporting event, people. It's the theater. Dress. Again, it's respect. To me, going to the theater is an event, and I enjoy dressing up, but you don't necessarily have to. I would say the higher the ticket price, the higher the grade of clothing. If it's just your middle school, just look nice. But when in doubt, dress nice. But don't feel too bad if you don't dress up. Just try to show your respect. Food. Don't eat food unless they're selling it. One aspect is it makes things dirty, and that's kind of rude, and then the other is chomping and the noise from rappers and stuff can be annoying. Along that lines, sound. Try to make as little sound as possible, because like in a theater, the sound system is everywhere and it's extremely loud. So eating popcorn isn't that big a deal because the sound is louder than that. That is not necessarily the case in most theaters. Cover up your coughs, try not to play with candy wrappers or cough drop wrappers, and quiet your crying children. Show up early, but don't show up at curtain. If you come in late, try to sit in the back, and also don't just walk right in, like wait for a break in the performance. Applause is a great thing to cover your entrance. Be quick and be quiet. Don't bring your kids, unless it's a kids show. Like if it's Mary Poppins or Wizard of Oz, those are good shows to take your kids to. But like King Lear, like just make it a date night, leave your kids at home, spring for a sitter. In fact, our drama teacher always wanted to raise children's tickets. I looked up some ideas to make sure I didn't miss anything for this video, and here are some things that I thought were completely given, but apparently some people need to hear them. Don't sing along unless asked. I did go to a Christmas carol where they started singing like Deck the Halls or something, and they asked the audience to sing along, and that was fun, and that was good, and I did sing along. But like my sister, she was fairly little when our high school put on Les Mis, and she really loved Les Mis, and she'd watch the movie and sing along, and so I felt the need to remind her that in a performance she can't sing along. Don't fall asleep. Also, they said not to cuddle with your neighbor because it can block the view of the people behind. That depends on the theater and how the chairs are set up. Bottom line is try to be respectful of the people around you. Standing ovations. So I went to a youth theater company, and they actually told the audience both before the performance and during the intermission that they asked the audience to stand at the end and give a standing ovation. And I personally think that's stupid, but it was also for children and they just wanted to show support, and I was like, okay. But to me, clapping is polite, and that's the furthest thing demanded by courtesy, so it'd be impolite to just not clap. But a standing O isn't polite. It's to show that a show was spectacular. So I only stand if my socks were knocked off. Also, if everyone else is standing up, you don't necessarily have to. If you don't know whether or not to stand, you can follow the people around you, but don't feel like you absolutely have to. Sincerely, your soeur de théâtre.